Good morning, everybody from balmy Buffalo. I'd now like to call to order the meeting of the directors of the Empire State Newmarket Corporation for Thursday, January 5th, 2017. I'd like to note for the record that I will be acting chairman for today's meeting. Further, I'd like to note that this meeting is being webcast, of course, and that we welcome public comment on the items on our agenda. The directors have received the relevant materials, written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask any questions at any time. Before we begin the substantive portion of the meeting, I'd like to ask the directors whether anyone has a potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the items on the agenda. If so, speak now. I have none. Lindsay has none. I think nobody has any, so we're going to move on. The foregoing having been noted for the record, the first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the directors' meeting of March 23rd, 2016. Any questions or comments or additions or deletions to these minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
Motion.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. I'd like to ask Jonathan Hornsby to present the next item on today's agenda, which is requesting authorization for the corporation to form up to 10 additional subsidiary community development entities. Jonathan.
Thank you, and good morning. This is a request for authorization to form up to 10 additional subsidiary community development entities and to take related actions. Approval is hereby requested for ESNMC to form up to 10 additional subsidiary CDEs, for which it will serve as managing member, and to take related actions, including applying for CDE certification by the Community Development Financial Institutions Fund of the U.S. Department of Treasury, and amending and executing ESNMC's allocation agreement with the CDFI Fund to include the newly created subsidiary CDEs. With its $55 million allocation of Newmarket's tax credits, ESNMC intends to close several NMTC transactions. Each transaction will be closed into a limited liability company, which must be certified as a CDE in order to allow for the admission of an investor that will be able to benefit from the tax credits. Each transaction is likely to consist of a different investor and a unique borrower. A limited liability company that is a subsidiary CDE must therefore be formed for each transaction. CDE certification is conducted by the CDFI Fund in a process that takes several months. Staff recommends that ESNMC form these subsidiaries and begin the CDE certification process now in order to have available subsidiary CDEs into which transactions may be closed in early 2017. The directors are requested to authorize ESNMC to execute any and all organizational and other documents necessary to form each subsidiary in order to comply with the NMTC program, and to authorize execution of any and all documents, including the execution of the allocation agreement. The articles of organization and the operating agreement of the new subsidiary CDEs will be substantially identical to the documents utilized for the 5 previous subsidiary CDEs formed to implement ESNMC's prior allocation. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jonathan. Any questions or comments from other directors? I have none. Any comments or questions from the public? Hearing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Robert. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Thank you. The motion does carry, and I want to ask Jonathan Byer to request authorization for the corporation to extend the terms of its pre-qualified counsel list and also authorize the retention of counsel from that list. Jonathan?
Thank you, and good morning to all.
As John Evan noted, Empire State New Markets Corp. recently received an additional allocation of tax credits in the amount of $55 million and will require additional legal services. The corporation requires legal counsel experienced in the program in order to effectuate the allocation and assist in executing new transactions. In order to execute the allocation agreement with the Community Development Financial Institutions Fund, the corporation was required to provide an opinion of counsel stating, among other things, that the corporation is authorized to enter into the allocation agreement. In addition, the corporation will require legal representation in closing of transactions going forward. The corporation had previously hired the firm of Holland & Knight to provide legal representation, and in August 2009, and authorized an amendment of that contract in 2012. The amended contract has expired last year, or actually 2015, with approximately $25,000 in unspent authorization. The process that we used to hire new counsel commenced late last year in December when ESD, the Urban Development Corporation, conducted a mini request for proposals on behalf of the corporation to solicit proposals for new market tax credit legal services. 4 firms on the pre-approved list were asked to that had new market practices were contacted. Responses were received from 2 law firms and were reviewed independently by the corporation's president and senior counsel, who together recommended Holland & Knight, which agreed to subcontract 30% participation to a minority women-owned firm, Showman, Updike, and Kaufman. Holland & Knight has provided excellent service, knows our portfolio, and possesses the necessary expertise for new market tax credits. Now, these 4 firms were selected from the pre-qualified list of counsel. One issue was that the current pre-qualified list expired at the first ESD board meeting in September. Accordingly, in September, the ESD board approved an extension of the term of the current pre-qualified list, which now expires in March 2017. Based on the pending ESD qualification process and the extension of the term of the ESD pre-qualified list, the corporation now is being asked to also extend the term for the corporation's adoption of the pre-qualified list so that it will expire on the same day as the ESD term expiration. It's anticipated that when ESD does adopt a new list, which will be effective before March 2017, it's anticipated that this board will be asked to approve that same list of counsel. And it's also expected that the counsel that we're selecting today will be on that list. Accordingly, the directors are now being asked to make a determination of responsibility with respect to the proposed contractor, extend the term of the pre-qualified list of counsel, and authorize the corporation to enter into a contract with Holland & Knight and its subcontractor for an amount not to exceed $235,000. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. I have a couple of quick questions, especially with regard to the expiration of the pre-qualified list and ultimately, extending that. And I don't have any question about Holland & Knight. I mean, they're a proven entity and have done good work for us, as you've indicated. But to that end, as we develop a new list of pre-qualified firms, what are we doing in terms of outreach in the entire state as opposed to a concentration downstate? You happen to have an acting chair who's sitting up in frigid Buffalo right now, who's always beating the upstate drum. We also happen to have a chair of the bigger corporation who does that as well. Does our outreach and solicitation for inclusion on that pre-qualified list include an ambitious approach to upstate firms as well?
Well, I personally was not involved in the outreach, but I'm obviously familiar with it because I've been consulted and advised on some of the council that have applied. But I know that we not only reached out in the manner required by law, which is advertising the contract reporter, which almost every firm is aware that we do advertise in the contract reporter, so it was known there. I believe there was some separate advertising. I also know that we reached out personally to a lot of firms, and I know that a number of upstate firms have applied. We've had more firms respond to this RFP than we've ever had before, and that's actually why I think the process was started early summer, because we knew the list was expiring in September. We thought it would be a 3-month process, but the volume of responses that we had and the time it's taken to review them has caused us, and the interview process has taken far longer than we expected because of the volume. And I know some specific firms that applied from upstate. So I think we are going to be better represented from all corners of the state.
That's terrific. Thank you. And I'd be remiss, I think we all would be, if we didn't not just gloss over something that Jonathan said in his remarks, and that is an acknowledgement of a $55 million new allocation. And that is big news. It's a significant number. And to John Evan and the rest of the team, I want to congratulate you and thank you for your good work on that. That's great news. Any other questions or comments from directors?
Just going to second that and say it's really amazing work, particularly by the team here, John Evan and Brendan and the whole team. It's wonderful news. A lot of good work can come out of it. So very excited.
We're looking forward to it. It is good news.
Way to go, way to go. And I'm also, I'm grateful to hear from Jonathan that Holland and Knight will be recognizing the MWBE element of this contract, 30% being the number that the governor has set as a priority, as a goal. No other questions or comments from directors. Do we have any comments from the public? Hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve this item.
Motion?
Second.
I'll second that motion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. And again, good work. I want to ask John Evan to request authorization for the approval of the new market tax credit deployment and investment selection process. John Evan, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. This is a request for approval of the NMTC deployment and investment selection process. Approval is hereby requested for the proposed deployment and approval process and selection criteria for ESNMC's 2016 New Markets Tax Credit Award. ESNMC received a $55 million NMTC allocation award in the 2015-2016 combined NMTC application round. ESNMC indicated the types of projects that it would invest in and provided an initial priority pipeline as part of its NMTC application to the CDFI fund. ESNMC is required to be generally consistent with the application and will have certain specific minimum investment requirements in rural, operating business, small loan, and other restrictions as part of its NMTC allocation agreement with the CDFI fund. A summary of ESNMC's NMTC application, goals that were stated in the application, and the requirements agreed to with the CDFI fund is included in your materials. ESNMC is quickly proceeding with the initial review of the potential pipeline and expects to bring for approval 2 to 3 initial transactions for closing in the first quarter of 2017. Quick deployment during the first quarter of 2017 is essential for demonstrating to the CDFI Fund that ESNMC is able to deploy and manage an award efficiently. In addition, the CDFI Fund requires community development entities to deploy at least 30% of the current round award, $16.5 million for ESNMC, in order to be eligible to apply for an award in the next NMTC application round. The directors are requested to authorize the NMTC deployment and investment selection process described in the documents provided in your materials. Thank you.
Terrific. Any questions or comments from Lindsay or Robert?
No.
I have none. Any comments from? Oh, sorry.
No, I just said excited to get to work. See where the money's going.
Yeah, I'm excited to move this item. Any comments from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Jonathan, I'd like you to present our last item, agenda item, requesting authorization for the corporation to establish a project review committee. We need another PRC.
Yes.
Jonathan, go ahead, Jonathan.
Thank you. This is a request for the establishment of an ESNMC project review committee. Staff recommends that an internal ESNMC project review committee be established and that this committee be responsible for reviewing and recommending potential new market tax credit transactions. Staff recommends that the committee be made up of Empire State Development staff identified and appointed by the President. The directors are requested to authorize the President to establish an internal ESNMC project review committee and appoint up to 6 ESD staff members to serve as members. Thank you.
Sounds good to me. Any questions or comments from other directors?
I think it'll be similar composition to PRC in general, or what do you?
It's some composition of the folks from PRC. Yeah, we're thinking so. Still giving it more thought, but we'll definitely circle back with folks and try and put that in motion as soon as possible.
Terrific. Any comments or questions from the public? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve this item?
Motion.
Second.
Great. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Let me thank everyone for your help in preparing this meeting and your participation in this meeting. I think it's a very impressive start that we're off on in the year 2017, and we're excited about the work that staff is going to be doing and reporting on. With that, if I can have...
if I may, just for a second, I just wanted to...
Please.
This is the first allocation we've received since 2009, and it is a huge step for Empire State Market Corporation, not only for ESNMC, but also for ESD. So I would like to thank everybody that's been involved with the New Market Tax Credit Program. It's been a long time coming. So we've done great work putting the application together and obviously ultimately getting an allocation. And I thank everybody at the table and on the outskirts that have helped participate in allowing us the opportunity to go forward with the New Market Tax Credit Program. So we do have a lot of work ahead of us. It's going to be a tough road ahead, but I think that we are more than capable of making this effective and efficient and hopefully getting more allocations in the future. So thank you all.
Yeah, and let me just conclude with, it is a reflection and a testament to the team that we've assembled, most of whom are there with you now. And on behalf of Howard Zemsky and my colleagues on the board, congratulations and thank you. Good work. It's really an exciting time, and I think we're going to do great things with these resources. Having said all of that, do I have a motion to end this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
And I think everybody is in favor. The motion carries. Thank you all very much. Happy New Year to everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.